on that right now, so I'm not focused on it. It's not looking like it's gonna happen in the next fight. So hopefully it can definitely happen this year.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So what you just heard was the voice of undefeated, unified WBC, WBA, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top two, if not number one, definitely top five, top three pound for pound best fighters in the world, in Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr., 28 wins, no loss and no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 32 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. He stated that him and his biggest rival in the biggest fight in boxing between himself and undefeated, unified, former three-division world champion, former undisputed junior welterweight world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Terrence Crawford, who is widely considered to be number one pound for pound best fighter in the world, with a record of 39 wins, no loss, no draw, 30 wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. He stated that's not going to happen next. It's not looking like that's the next fight for him. So it's looking like it's going to be another fight, which people are starting to speculate. Is it going to be this man, former unified WBC, WBA, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, who is 30 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 69-inch arm reach, as Keith Thurman is the WBC mandatory number one challenger for Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr.? Or is it going to be this man, Errol Spence's IBF mandatory challenger and undefeated welterweight superstar title contender, Jaron Boots Ennis? Jaron Boots Ennis is 29 wins, no losses, no draw. He is 27 wins by way of knockout, 25 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. Now, Jaron Boots Ennis, he will be showcasing his talents January 7th on the undercard of Gervonta Tank Davis's fight in Washington, D.C., okay, on Showtime. Okay, so Jaron Boots Ennis is the IBF mandatory number one challenger for Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Now, Errol Spence Jr., he stated he will be back in May or June. So Jaron Ennis fights January 7th, which means he could be in line to fight Errol Spence Jr. in May or June, right? So that's two opponents. But then the question is Errol Spence possibly going to move up to 154 pounds to the junior middleweight division, right? He's already on record stating that three-time junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, who's the undisputed junior middleweight world champion, fellow stablemate, superstar, pound for pound, top five best fighter in the world, Jermell Charlo, is not out the question. He don't want to fight Keith Thurman. Never has. And obviously, the question is the biggest fight in boxing between himself and Terrence Crawford. Okay, they was in negotiations, so they already have the foundation already set, because they stated that they sent Terrence Crawford a revised contract just a few weeks before Terrence Crawford announced that he was going to move on and fight David Avanesian December 10th on BLK Prime, right? When they notified Terrence Crawford that his fight with Errol Spence would be taking place in 2023, not in 2022. So he wanted to get another fight in instead of waiting for 2023. So he fought David Avanesian, got a 6-round brutal knockout victory over David Avanesian. This is for all the marbles. This is for undisputed. This is the fight that Errol Spence stated that he wants, and I believe Errol Spence wants this fight. They have been pushing for Errol Spence to fight Keith one-time Thurman. I don't believe he has much interest in fighting Keith Thurman, but the WBC, World Boxing Council, has now ordered that fight. There's talks that, you know, he could possibly face Jaron Boots Ennis. Okay, we know Boots Ennis, father, trainer, manager Bozy Ennis, stated that he petitioned the IBF to get Jaron Boots Ennis his opportunity, as Errol Spence hasn't satisfied his IBF mandatory since 2018 when he fought Carlos Ocampo. So this is a fight that, you know, the world will call for and clamor for, to see Jaron Boots Ennis versus Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Okay, Errol Spence, he acknowledged Jaron Boots Ennis as his talent, said he's a very good fighter. So this is a fight that Jaron Boots Ennis wants. He wants to face Errol the True Spence Jr. ASAP, immediately. Okay. And he having a fight January 7th, which most people expected him to be victorious in. Okay. Styles to make fights. Jaron Ennis is very versatile, very skilled, can fight orthodox, can fight southpaw, power in both hands, 5'10", 74-inch arm reach. He's the complete total package, okay? But the WBC, they're going to push for this fight with Errol Spence to face off against Keith one-time Thurman. And also the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, founder and advisor Al Heyman, the PBC overall, they have been pushing for a fight for Keith Thurman to get his opportunity, ironically now, to face Errol Spence Jr. after Errol Spence has been, on the hunt to fight Keith Thurman since they both unified the belts in 2017. Keith Thurman did so in March of 2017. Errol Spence did so in May of 2017. He fought and won his title against former IBF welterweight world champion British superstar boxer Special K. Kell Brook. Keith Thurman, he unified the belts against two-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia. And from there, Errol Spence has been clamoring for opportunity to fight against Keith Thurman and unify the belts. But Keith Thurman, he gave Errol Spence the runaround. Okay, he wasn't clamoring for a fight, and then he actually went on a hiatus from 2017, didn't come back until January of 2019 for Josito Lopez, and then he lost to Manny Pacquiao in July. So the biggest fight in the division became Errol Spence and Terence Bud Crawford, because around the same time, Terence Crawford, he made his debut in the welterweight division, beating the man who beat Manny Pacquiao in Jeff Horn, okay, and winning the WBO title. He moved up in weight. So the fight that the fans started to clamor for is Errol the True Spence Jr. versus Terence Bud Crawford, okay? That's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, right? Things fell through. They didn't get the fight to come to fruition. And now everybody's wondering, is Keith Thurman going to be the next opponent? As Errol Spence just stated that he don't see the Terence Crawford fight happening next. He said hopefully he could spin the block and get the fight done and get a deal done by the end of 2023, before the year is up, okay, later on in the year. So seeing as though he suffered another car accident, which pushed his fight date back, as he stated that he was going to announce 4 days after Terence Crawford fought. So that would be the 14th of this month of December. He was going to announce his next fight, which most people expected to be Keith one-time Thurman, as you have the handlers, TGB, Tom Brown Promotions. They stated that they petitioned to allow Errol Spence to fight against Keith one-time Thurman. So that's why everybody expects and acknowledging Keith Thurman as the next possible opponent for Errol Spence Jr., because we know TGB, Tom Brown Promotions, is the lead promotional company for the PBC and Al Heyman, okay? And so they petitioned to have Keith Thurman the next opponent, to allow Keith Thurman to be the next opponent for Errol Spence Jr., which Errol Spence had another mandatory in WBA welterweight regular champion in Ennis Stanionis, but the WBA allowed the WBC to leapfrog them, and now Stanionis is going to fight against Virgil Ortiz Jr., Mexican superstar welterweight title contender. So they'll fight against one another, and it looks like Keith Thurman is in position to get the fight with Errol the True Spence Jr., okay? As far as that fight goes, that's a very big fight, okay? Errol Spence is not somebody who looks for a tune-up fight. So that Keith Thurman is a very, very big fight for Errol Spence. This gives Errol Spence the opportunity to absolutely clean out the division. He would have absolutely cleaned out the division outside of fighting the names of Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. If he was able to fight and beat Keith Thurman, as I expect him to, and then fight and beat Terence Crawford, then, that would be huge for Errol Spence, become undisputed and actually fight all the best fighters in his division, absolutely clean out his welterweight division, okay? So I believe he's going to beat Keith Thurman should they fight. I think Keith Thurman vulnerabilities. Keith Thurman has shown training. He's back working out, but Keith Thurman has some very, very glaring holes and glaring weaknesses, particularly to the body, okay, which is Errol Spence's strength. Errol Spence is a very good body puncher, right? He changes levels very well, but he focuses on the body very, very well, okay? His combinations to the body, hooks to the body, he'll stab you to the body with his jab. He'll reach with a straight left hand to the body. He's the complete package. I think Keith Thurman definitely has pop. He has power. He has speed. He has mobility, high ring IQ. But again, I feel like Keith Thurman is 1 foot in the sport of boxing, 1 foot out the sport of boxing. He's not fully committed to the sport of boxing as he once was in 2017, which was at that time the biggest fight in the division was Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman, because at that point in time, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather was seen as on their way out the division, and they was just picking and choosing who they wanted to fight just off of their namesake, okay, and their star power. The biggest competitive fight was Keith Thurman and Errol the True Spence Jr., but Keith Thurman, he didn't have much interest in that fight. So let's see what happens next. What's next for Errol the True Spence Jr.? That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports.